Hello and welcome back to the Sports Brief Podcast. Welcome back to it, episode 30. Now, starting at now, first thing we got to do, turn it over to co-host. How's it going, dude?
It's going good. Good to be back.
Absolutely. Episode 30, a lot of big things to happen tonight. We're going to preview the Super Bowl a little bit, talk about the Vikings, and now getting Gary Kubiak as their new offensive coordinator. And a lot of other stuff, but the first thing we're going to ask you guys to do is subscribe to the most recent news and events in sports, which are all brought to you by the Sports Brief Podcast, as Tristan has to bring up his Lambeau Field mug. Anywho, once again, be sure to leave us a comment as well as a like, all of which after you subscribe, comment on how great my hair looks tonight or how much I need to improve it or get a haircut, whatever we need to comment on. Zion Williamson absolutely mesmerized people in his NBA debut. And I think that this also wasn't originally supposed to be really talked about, but it's hard not to talk about a guy that went 4 for 4 from beyond the 3-point line and scored 22 points in 18 minutes, 17 of which came in the fourth quarter. And before he came out, they had I believe they had a leader as a one possession game. They were taking it to him. When he was obviously catching fire. Your reaction when seeing Mr. Williamson tear it up?
I only watched a little bit of the highlights, but it's pretty wild that such a big dude can shoot so well. Yeah. That's the only thing that really stood out to me. His movements aren't super fast, but the way he moves makes people bite hard. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is about it. I don't think anybody expects him to shoot the three, but he shoots the three and he gets them. But yeah, it was impressive. And then just throwing it up towards the hoop, letting him go tip it in. It almost looks effortless. I'm worried about his longevity. I think everybody probably should be. Because I hate to say it and I hate to be like this, but I think he's probably going to be a player who's pretty injury prone most of his career. I just don't see him not. I mean, the dude's his knees are already shot almost. I mean, he's got bad knees already. But I really hope he doesn't get hurt. I mean, he looked phenomenal last night when he started catching fire. So I hope this is the next coming of LeBron James.
I do too, and I think it's something that I think people are almost going to take for granted. They're going to just say, "Oh, one game." Even if he, God forbid, if he goes out after a couple seasons and washes out, I hope that doesn't happen. Great player. I think that you're going to see a guy, or you saw, a guy last night that, and maybe I miss seeing this, but when I watched the highlights. He's not his explosive, destroying self. Like, he is not the way he was in Duke. In Duke, he literally almost broke the rim, probably at least a handful of times when he played for Duke. So I'm looking at this. What's that?
I think he'll get there.
Yeah, I think he's coming back from obviously a tough knee injury before the season. I hope that as long, like you said, I hope he stays it for the long run. I hope his body holds up. I do think it will for at least the next 5 years, and I really hope that he continues to develop that outside shot, because if your body goes, you still need to be able to provide something shooting-wise in the NBA. Yeah. If you want to stay in the NBA, you got to be able to put up the ball. You got to be able to put it in, and right. I think he does a great job of doing that at times. Obviously, only one game to go off of. Does a fantastic job of doing it so far. So I think you're going to see a guy that has to develop his game a little bit more. And then once that explosiveness comes back, it's over. I mean, if he can stay healthy and if he can find that explosiveness again, or when he can find that explosiveness again, it's almost not fair. Like, I'm looking at this kid is absolutely amazing. He is the next he has a chance to be the next coming of LeBron James. And I think it's something I'm excited to see. Like, when I only thought we'd ever see one LeBron James, but apparently we might have two.